I saw you chilling at the landmark.
You were there?
No, I saw you chilling there.
Ah, okay.
I was there last year.
No, we were campaigning.
At the landmark?
Yes. We were raising funds for the campaign.
Oh, okay. How much did you raise?
We had about £400,000.
Hey! Okay.
Yeah.
£400,000.
Yeah, for London people to give you £400,000.
You took your commission?
Oh, no, it's for campaign funds.
Now, how's the campaign going?
Well, Dr. Bawumia is in the north. He's going to be there for about 10 days or so. It's a constituency tour. And I saw some of the footage of his activities being played a couple of minutes ago on your station. It's exciting. The report that we are getting is that the response to his message and to his presence, the response have been very exciting. And we're hoping that it's going to continue to be exciting up to the election day. I mean, Bawumia's message is quite attractive. His ideas about where to take Ghana and how to take Ghana there are very exciting. If you look at the UPSA speech where he gave us a taste of what he has in mind for the country, what he said about the cost of living, bringing down the cost of living, he identified 4 or 5 key areas. Talked about the dollar. At any time the dollar went up, the cost of living went up. And so to be able to keep the dollar stable, or the cedi, the value of the cedi stable, we need to have a more radical approach to some of the things that we've been doing. Import substitution has to be more rigorous and targeted. The use of gold. Wasa has a lot of gold. The use of gold to back the currency, which has been a standard practice in many of the places where their money, their currency is stable, is going to pursue the same strategy in Ghana, big time. If you went to England or the UK, for example, they have nearly 4,000 tons of gold that they use to support the British pound. You go to America, they have over 8,000 tons of gold that also supports the dollar. We produce the gold, we didn't even have 10 tons. So there's going to be a major gold purchase program to the Bank of Ghana to shore up, because gold is currency, it's international currency, to shore up the cedi. He also talked about import substitution of some of the things that we chicken. Fortunately for us, over the last 3 years or so, Randy, the rice, which is a major import, major commodity, food commodity that we use dollars to import. The rice importation has reduced by about 40%, which shows that if we do more, we'll be able to be self-sufficient in rice in the coming days. He also talked about housing as one of the factors that push up the cost of living. The cost of housing is high because the demand or the supply does not meet the demand for housing. And what he planned to do is for government to buy land banks across the country. So you take Accra, Greater Accra, where we want the city to expand, government to buy maybe 100 acres and put in infrastructure, water, electricity, roads, so that private developers can go in there and put up houses. Because one of the major drivers of the cost of housing is the land and the litigation, the uncertainty with land ownership. You end up paying 3-4 groups of people, so it makes the cost of land, and also the cost of infrastructure. If in your own house you want to get an electricity meter, you have to go through a lot of hassle. If government provided all those things, and so the private developers just have to go, the land is there, the infrastructure is there, it will bring down the cost of living and to lead to a huge delivery of housing. And that government is not going to now have to put in money. We all know the problems that attend when government is putting in money. Sagleme is a crucial example. And then it's also going to digitize land titling. A lot of the land in Ghana, the title, the ownership is not established because the chiefs and the people have not registered the land. The cost of it is high, the process of it is cumbersome. So he's going to introduce a system where the registration of land will be free. So when the land is being sold, that's where government will get something. But the registration will be free and it will be digitized. So that every parcel of land in this country would have ownership that you can access on your phone. So when you want to buy land and so on, you don't have to now go to some land commission and go through 50 files to see. He also identified energy as one of the drivers of the cost of living. He said, here we have the sun. It's it's so hot, that's why we have this skin color. That's what people believe. But the sun too is a major source of energy, especially electricity. And those of us who have solar facilities at home, we know how effective solar can be. Now, on the national level, Bawumia says he's going to embark on a major national effort to generate 2,000 megawatts of electricity from solar. And that would be a significant change in our energy mix, at least for domestic use, households and so on. And for a 4-year period, the major solar program, the manufacturing of batteries, the manufacturing of the panels will be localized so that we can put panels all over roofs and all over the country. We can generate from the sun. When they go to North Africa, for example, they are now storing electricity in batteries for solar from the sun and exporting it to Europe. He also identified transportation as one of the drivers of the cost of living, and he said that he would embark on an introduction of electric buses for public transportation, which will reduce the cost of public transportation and also make the fare stable, because the key driver of transport fares is basically the price of diesel and petrol. And so electric buses do not use diesel or petrol. They just use batteries, and they don't suffer increment anytime there's an increment in the price, international price of oil and so on, or the fall in the value of the cedi, or the rise in the price of the dollar. And so he's going to embark on a massive introduction of electric vehicles for public transport. And then the last one was food. He's going to encourage the things that we are doing pre-harvest, the support that we give to farmers are going to be maintained, but there's going to be a new focus on post-harvest management, post-harvest support. So agro-processing is going to be a major item in the industry drive to be able to process the food that will be produced. Also, the cost of transport with the electric buses that will be introduced for public transportation. It should stabilize the price of transport. That also affect the price of food. It's going to introduce lime, which I understand is a very effective support for agriculture because it reduces the acidity in the soil and makes the soil more productive. And we have limestone, huge supplies of limestone in this country, and it's going to make that a major part of the agriculture. And then it's going to encourage large-scale commercial farming. Those ideas, and then his ideas for macroeconomic stability using the gold purchase program to help to support the city. He's also going to take off a lot of load from public expenditure. He says that roads, for example, commercially viable roads, which basically are the highways, is going to leverage concession agreements with private sector to provide, to build the highways and toll them, so that that kind of expenditure can be taken off the government books. And because these roads are viable, you go into a concession agreement for 10 years, they toll, but then you have the roads. And then many of the services that government provide, that can be provided by the private sector, so government can lease, like school, hostels, and so on. Will be taken off government expenditure. And he's also going to bring an addition to the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which would tie the budget not to the previous year's budget, but to tax revenue, and enforce it, so that the deficit does not go beyond 5% and so on, to stabilize the city, and also the aggressive import substitution program, and also the aggressive export. So, and then also is going to be tax reform. There are an estimated 10 million people who do not pay direct taxes in this country. They were previously not identified, but now with the Ghana card, with about 17 million people on the Ghana card, only about 4 million have been identified and paying direct taxes, people like you and myself sitting here. But there are another 14 million who do not pay. If you take out another 2 million for students and so on, you are looking at about 8 to 9 to 10 million people who can be identified now because they have Ghana card. And the Ghana card is also your tax identification number, who can now be assessed for tax purposes. It's going to be a simplified system, a flat rate that you can file on your phone and pay on your phone and get your receipt on your phone every month. So all these plumbers and electricians and drivers and so on, millions of people who are not in the tax bracket and do not have the opportunity to contribute, they will have the opportunity now to contribute through the tax reform using the identification that the Ghana card provides to rope in these huge numbers of people, and that will enable him to do away with some of the taxes that we have today, e-levy and so on. So his message is exciting and is being received well by the people. And every constituency that he goes, there's a youth connect where he meets about 1,000 young people in every constituency. Especially when there's a school there, it's easier to get them together. But a lot of young people are brought together in a hall that he addresses. And so, and it's going to get better, Randy.